Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is on a gun that I guess is kind of new on the market as I'm filming this. This is the Smith & Wesson metal-framed M&P9 M2.0. So the M&P series has of course been on the market for some time, and I think they were inspired possibly by Walther and the success of the metal framed versions of the PPQ to come out with a metal framed version of the M&P. Now why make a metal frame version of a polymer striker fired gun? I've always thought this was kind of weird. You know, it's one of those fads. We all went to polymer striker-fired handguns when that was the new and cool thing. Metal is old school. Polymers, what's new? It's strong, it's light. And now that we've had that for a while, people are like, wouldn't it be really cool if we had a metal-framed gun? Well, it's one of those things that ebbs and flows, and maybe in about 10 or 15 years, they're going to come out with a polymer-framed version of the metal-framed version of the M&P9. I know. I'm just joking. It's just one of those things that comes and goes. But why make a metal version of it? I definitely think it has to do with weight. The M&P line is very successful and is one of Smith & Wesson's best-selling pistols. Now, there's a lot of people that want to have that gun as a competition pistol or a range gun that shoots a little bit lighter and possibly is a little bit nicer than the toy-feeling plastic gun. So they come out with the metal-framed version of that particular firearm. And as you can see, it looks just like a standard M&P. But before I get into the things that I like and don't like about this particular pistol, I want to thank the people that always make these videos possible. First and foremost is the owner of this awesome gun who lent it to the channel for review, and that is my good friend and local subscriber, Jack. Jack, once again, thank you for lending such awesome guns for me to review. I want to thank my Patreons as always. You guys know that as a firearms YouTube channel, I'm a YouTube bad boy. Not everything I make is monetizable, and so my Patreon supporters go a long way in helping me keep the lights on around here. And if you want to be a Patreon supporter, you can do it for as low as $1 a month over at my Patreon page. You guys get to see all these range reports early. And I want to thank my primary sponsor who helps me get all of the ammunition for these range reports and once again, thus making them financially feasible for me to make. And that is my good friend Mark from Brownworks. Now I know if you're watching this video right now, you want to see information on the Smith & Wesson M&P9 metal framed. And most of the time when it comes to a metal framed pistol, they have wood panel grips. It's just one of those nice things about metal framed guns, the steel and the wood. However, this gun doesn't have that, but I guarantee you have guns that do. Guns like 1911s, Beretta 92s, and CZ 75s. Well, I have a company that makes custom one-off grips that you guys need to go check out, and that company is Brownworks. Mark, the owner over there, is an artist. He is a true craftsman. This is his passion, and he makes the best grips on the market. As I mentioned, they are custom one-off grips. He can put on custom logos, custom engravings, finish them in a wide variety of colors and textures. He makes grips out of many different types of exotic woods and materials. He also offers other services like laser engraving PMags and wood grips for AR-15s. Yes, they are a very innovative company, always adding new products all the time. So I'm going to ask that if you want to support me here at the Texas Gun Vault, please go over and check out the website of Brownworks. I guarantee you'll find something that will interest you. And if you don't, make sure to contact Mark. He has amazing customer service and he will do his best to hook you up. And when you do contact him, please tell him the Texas Gun Vault sent you. All right, so let's talk about this really interesting offering from Smith & Wesson. And of course, talk about the things that I like and don't like. And I always want to start with the positive. Now, the first thing I'm going to say about this gun that I like is the quality of the metal frame. It seems to be really well manufactured. Now, I'm going to assume it is cast. I don't see any type of machine marks really on it. It might be milled, but it looks like it's a very intricate frame for it to be milled. So I'm going to assume there is some casting involved, but I don't know for sure. But whatever process they use, it seems to be of high quality. It is finished really well. And that brings me to my next point, the finish of this gun. It's not finished like any other M&P I've ever seen. I have a flat dark earth full-size 2.0. This is one of my favorite guns to take to the range. And I've also owned a compact version of the M&P, and that was in black. However, the finish of this is more in a titanium finish. It is silver in color, and it matches that frame. I think the finish on this gun is exceptional. I don't see any issues with it, and I do like that color. It reminds me a lot of the SIG Legion series. If you know what I'm talking about, it's that titanium silver finish, but it looks dark from a distance. It looks very attractive. I also like the sighting options that are going to be on this gun. I think the factory M&P sights are pretty darn good. You do get a 3-dot system here. They function really well. Of course, you can change those out. The sights, both in the front and the back, are dovetailed. And if you want to put on a red dot optic, the slide is cut for that. The last thing I absolutely love about the 2.0 versions of the M&P is the trigger. These guns just have such a nice trigger, and it's a huge upgrade over the original M&P. So let me safety check this gun once again, and I'll show you this on camera. So they really worked on all the complaints people had about their original triggers. So you have a very nice take-up. It is smooth. You have a very firm wall. You have the brake. Now let me show you the reset. Now this is where the M&P 1.0s I thought really kind of sucked. You really couldn't tell where that reset is. But if I release the trigger slowly, a little bit further than I would want, the reset is not as tactile and audible as a Glock, but you do feel it, and then you only have a little bit of take-up back to the wall. So it's not the greatest polymer striker-fired pistol trigger ever, but it is pretty darn good out of the box, and I would say as a duty trigger, it is really nice. I personally don't see any reason to change this trigger out. I know a lot of people put those Apex triggers in there. I am perfectly fine with the stock trigger. Now let's talk about the couple of things about this gun that I don't like. And this is going to be the opposite side of the coin when it comes to the metal frame. It's heavy. It's not overly heavy, but I think the whole point of the M&P series was they were going to make it out of polymer. It was going to be light. And so you get a duty handgun that functions great, and it's light. It's made out of a space-age material. Well, I know polymer now is not a space-age material, but when these guns came out and the original Glocks came out, there was nothing else on the market like them. That was the big selling point. And to have that polymer frame, it is light and it's durable. But this gun can be a little bit heavy, so I think it kind of takes it out of the realm of possibly a concealed carry pistol. I know a lot of people carry the M&Ps for concealed carry. This is going to weigh it down. So if you are kind of weight sensitive, depending on the way that you carry your gun, that might be an issue. But for the range and as a home defense gun, I think that weight is going to be excellent. But the weight might be a detraction for some. Another thing about the M&P 2.0 series that I kind of like but kind of don't like is the grip texture. Now on the 1.0s, I did not like the grip texture of the removable back straps. They felt like 1980s car steering wheels. They were too rubberized for me. However, on the 2.0, they did a good job of adding more of a sandpaper texture, and I know a lot of people like that. It kind of resembles some of those Talon grips. However, I think it's too sandpapery for me. I know beggars can't be choosers. I didn't like the 1.0 and said it's too rubberized. Give me something with a little bit more grippy surface. And they definitely did. And for me, it's a little bit too much. I would personally like something maybe with a granular texture that's not so small as this, not so sandpapery, something closer to maybe like a Glock Gen 4 or Gen 5 type of texture. But those are just the small gripes about this gun that I don't like. So let's go ahead and get this thing to the range. I am really anxious to see how this thing shoots. I shoot my M&P full-size M2.0 really well, so I'm curious if this 4.25 inch barrel with the metal frame it's going to be just as good. So I'm going to set up the target at 7 yards like I always do to begin with. Load up one of these magazines which holds 15 or 16 rounds. We're going to put some rounds down range, see how this gun shoots, how I like the trigger, and in general, how it functions. And I think this thing shoots great. And I have to tell you, this was a very surprising experience for me. I kind of thought it would just shoot like a regular M&P, but this metal frame really dampens the recoil. Now, my M&P9 with the polymer frame, it is a very light shooting gun. This one is even better. You can keep the sights on target. I am really impressed with it. The trigger feels good and the gun is accurate. So the general pleasure of shooting this gun is more than I was expecting. So far, it's getting great marks. All right, so now I'm going to set up the target at a further distance. I think I'm going to go out to about 15 yards, load up another magazine, and go for the head on the same IDPA target. I'm curious to see if this group is going to open up and how I shoot it at a further distance. And for me, this gun continues to perform really well. It's very accurate. I love this trigger. It's just right for me. I like duty triggers. Now, if you like target triggers, it's probably going to be a little bit too mushy for you. But for me, as a duty trigger, this thing is great. It is just a lot of fun and a pleasure to shoot because of the recoil. I am really, really impressed with it. But I did remember there is one thing about this gun, maybe that I wish that it had. And some people are going to say that is absolutely stupid, and I understand. However, with my M&P full size, I do have a manual safety. And a lot of people say on striker-fired polymer handguns, you don't need a safety. And I totally get it. And I'm glad that they make models without it for those people. However, it does not appear, but I could be wrong, but I couldn't find any that have a manual safety. I know it would be more difficult to make because they would have to make another cutout in the frame, and they probably just want to make one frame for the ease of manufacture. However, I do wish it did have a manual safety for those people that want it. And when I have a metal frame gun, I kind of like to have that manual safety, kind of like a 1911 or a Browning high power. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to put this gun in my wife's hands. I'm really curious to see what she thinks. I already told her what I thought after shooting it, going, wow, this is a pleasure to shoot, and the recoil is really light. Her favorite gun is also the Glock 19, and I think this is a very comparable size and a gun that competes with the Glock 19. So I'm curious to see her thoughts and see how she shoots it. And I have to be honest with you, I was kind of expecting her to shoot it better than she did. Often, she shoots these guns better than I do. I'm always proud of her. But this one just didn't do it for her. And of course, if you've been following the channel for a long time, you know that she is grip texture sensitive, and I kind of knew this was going to be too grippy for her. She just doesn't like that. She also didn't like the trigger as much as I do. Now, once again, her favorite gun is a Glock 19, and she likes how audible and tactile the reset is on a stock Glock trigger. This is similar, but it's definitely not the same. You don't get that same feeling, and the trigger is going to be a little bit more mushy. So she didn't like it, and that's why she said she didn't think she shot it as well. But overall, she was happy with it. She just said she wishes it had a different texture, and who knows, maybe there's a company that do make these back straps with a different texture. That would be really cool. I'd have to look into that. All right, so I want to give another person a chance to shoot this and get their insight. I had my friend at the range. He's a fellow musician, and he loves guns, and his favorite gun also is the Glock 19. In fact, he was shooting his Glock 19 in the bay next to me when I was shooting some of the footage for this range report. So I want to give him a little trigger time on this gun and see what he has to say. He was very interested in this metal frame and curious how it shot. So let's see how he did. And being a Glock 19 fan, he had the same complaint that my wife did about the trigger, but he said it was pretty good overall. The thing he liked the most about this gun was the size. He said it is a very attractive gun, especially with those front cocking serrations, all the different milling that goes out into the slide and the frame. And he says for a size of a firearm, this is in that sweet spot. It's small enough to carry, but it's big enough to be a range gun or a home defense gun. It's really kind of big, but it's not. It's a really cool size. And maybe it's closer to that of a Glock 19X more than it is a Glock 19. It just kind of feels like it's a little bit longer in the grip area. Or as I believe Springfield Armory calls it, the grip zone. Now, Smith & Wesson doesn't call it that, but it just feels really good in the hand and has that longer stock. All right, so the next thing I want to do is make sure this thing runs hollow points. I'm going to assume it does. After all, the M&P9s in polymer all do. I've never had an issue with them, but you never know. You might want to use this for home defense, and because of the metal frame and the feed ramp, it might have some issues. So I'm going to put some golden saber through this, and I'm also curious if the higher velocity 9mm are going to have any more felt recoil with this metal frame. So let's put a few rounds down range of hollow points, and let's see how it does. And as expected, it ran great. I couldn't even tell the difference in the recoil, and the gun is just so much fun and such a pleasure to shoot. It is a very accurate gun for me, and I'm really enjoying it. It's just absolutely fantastic, and I honestly think I shoot it better than my personal M&P9. So that really did surprise me. All right, so I got one more piece of range footage to show you, and that is just going to be what I call the gun porn, the mag dump. I know you guys just want to see me shoot this thing fast. It's not really a test. It's just something fun. So let me put a mag through this as fast as I possibly can, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts. And as you can see, I can shoot this thing really fast, and that's just a testament to the trigger. It's really, really nice. It's a very nice duty trigger, but if you do like that crisper tactile reset, you're gonna prefer a Glock, I think, just a little bit more. So what are my final thoughts on the M&P9 M2.0 metal frame? Well, I have to say, going into this review, I wasn't expecting to like this gun as much as I do, but it has honestly, truly impressed me. From a fit finish perspective, it's absolutely fantastic. I like that titanium look. The milling or the casting on the frame looks absolutely fantastic. In some ways, it looks better than the polymer frame. I have to say that everything on it fits together great. There's no shakes or rattles. It seems to be a really high quality semi-automatic pistol. But my only issue with this metal frame is something I kind of alluded to earlier in the video, is that it kind of falls into the uncanny valley of pistols. And if you don't know what the uncanny valley is, it's a concept in robotics that once you begin to create a robot that looks really close to a human being, your brain begins to perceive it as something that's might be dangerous. It gives you a feeling of uneasiness. And a lot of times when you watch science fiction movies with robots, they try to go into this area because your brain recognizes it as a human, but you know it's a robot. And it just gives you this weird sense of uneasiness. Well, this gun kind of falls into that. No, it doesn't make me feel uneasy, but it sure looks like a polymer framed pistol. Look at this side by side. Obviously, it's the same model. This is the polymer, obviously. This one here, you're just used to seeing a gun that looks like this in polymer. And you pick it up, and it's in metal. And you don't really know what to think. It's just kind of weird. It's just not what you're expecting. And it's the uncanny valley of pistols. So it's something that I would have to get used to. I'm just not used to a metal frame having all these different cutouts, all these different sharp edges, having this look and this finish. It's not a complaint. It's just not what I was expecting. But they do it really well. Smith & Wesson does a great job on this. This gun is accurate for me. I am really happy with how fast I can shoot it, how accurate I can shoot it. It is a real pleasure. It has surprised me from the very first shot. So on my star system, how would I rate the M&P9 M2.0 metal frame with the 4.25-inch barrel? Well, it exceeded my expectations. Therefore, it's getting a 5 out of 5 star review. I didn't have any hiccups or malfunctions with it. It shot great for me, very accurate, low recoiling, and it has the fun factor. And I also think from a mechanical standpoint, it's interesting because it is the metal frame. It's something different, and Smith & Wesson was thinking outside the box. Or I guess Walther was originally thinking outside the box, and Smith & Wesson borrowed that idea. But good on them, it's something different. Now, is this gun going to be for everybody? I don't think so. As I mentioned earlier, I don't think this is going to be a great gun for concealed carry because of the added weight. You definitely could conceal carry it with the right holster, but I would definitely go with a polymer version of this gun for that. But when it comes to a range gun and it comes to a home defense gun, I don't think you can get anything nicer in this price point and in this quality. So 5 out of 5 stars for the Smith & Wesson M&P9 4.25-inch barrel M2.0 with the metal frame. What a great gun and what a true surprise to get to shoot. So thank you so much, Jack, for lending this to the channel. So what do you guys think? Is this an offering from Smith & Wesson that you would be interested in? As I mentioned, this is kind of a new offering for them as I'm filming this. So if you're watching this video 5 or 10 years from now, don't go, that gun isn't new. Please make sure you look at the date. I get that stuff in all my comment sections of my older videos. But this is a new offering as I'm filming it. And I kind of think it might be a fad because eventually they're going to go back to polymer because when they get tired of metal, they got to do something new. But right now, this thing is great. And I think it has a lot of benefits to it and not really a lot of cons, things that detract away from it. So 5 out of 5 stars. What a great gun. Just simply wow. So what do you guys think? Do you want one? Let me know in the comments section below. And as always, thanks for watching.